Whistleblower bombshell on ballot scandal. Legal experts sound alarm over voting irregularities. Canada's snap federal election held on April 28, 2025, took an unexpected and troubling turn when a whistleblower stepped forward with explosive claims of voting irregularities. This shocking whistleblower bombshell has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, alarming legal experts, politicians, and voters alike. The revelations cast serious doubt on the integrity of the election and the democratic process itself. Mark Carney's recent ascent to Prime Minister, following his replacement of Justin Trudeau, had inspired many Canadians with hope for a fresh start and reform. However, these disturbing allegations threaten to unravel that optimism by challenging the very fairness and legitimacy of the vote. The insider whistleblower detailed multiple alarming inconsistencies uncovered during the election. Among the claims were inflated voter rolls that seemed disproportionate to the actual eligible population in several ridings. There were also suspicious spikes in advance polling turnout in select electoral districts that defied historical voting patterns and raised questions about verification protocols. Such irregularities suggest systemic vulnerabilities in election administration that may have been exploited, either through administrative negligence or potentially deliberate manipulation. The implications are severe. If true, these weaknesses could have skewed election results in key battleground districts, shifting the balance of power and undermining the democratic mandate. Legal experts reacted swiftly and seriously to the whistleblower's revelations. Democracy, they emphasize, depends not only on the fairness of the process itself, but also on the public's perception that elections are transparent, honest, and legitimate. Leading constitutional lawyers and election law specialists have warned that unresolved and uninvestigated allegations of ballot mishandling and irregularities risk corroding Canadians' trust in their democratic system. Without impartial, rigorous investigations, voter confidence could be permanently damaged, threatening the social contract and the peaceful transfer of power. Among the specific voting irregularities reported were instances of advance poll participation that far exceeded normal historical turnout rates, without any clear explanation such as demographic changes or increased voter enthusiasm. This raised concerns about how thoroughly polling staff verified voters and maintained chain of custody. Additionally, the surge in mail-in ballots, expanded during the pandemic to improve accessibility, came under intense scrutiny. Critics pointed to lax security controls, insufficient monitoring of ballot distribution, and delays in counting that increased opportunities for error or interference. Reports also surfaced hinting at potential breaches in voter ID verification, fueling worries that some ineligible individuals may have cast ballots, either due to administrative lapses or intentional exploitation. Together, these factors have painted a troubling picture that demands close examination. Opposition parties, notably the Conservatives and New Democratic Party (NDP), quickly seized on this whistleblower bombshell as justification to demand full audits, thorough recounts, and comprehensive reviews in close ridings where irregularities might have affected outcomes. Their calls reflect deep concerns that leaving these questions unanswered would weaken the legitimacy of Canada's political institutions and further erode voter confidence across the country. The stakes are high, as fair elections are the bedrock of democratic governance. In response, Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Liberal Party have categorically denied any intentional wrongdoing or manipulation of the vote, dismissing the allegations as politically motivated attacks designed to destabilize the newly formed government. Nonetheless, Carney has promised full cooperation with Elections Canada and other oversight bodies, signaling a willingness to facilitate transparency despite the heated partisan tensions. How this cooperation unfolds will be closely watched by Canadians demanding accountability. Elections Canada now finds itself under unprecedented scrutiny as it endeavors to investigate these claims impartially and comprehensively. How the agency manages this crisis will significantly shape public opinion about the reliability and security of Canada's elections going forward. Election observers and experts stress that restoring public trust hinges on Elections Canada's credibility, transparency in the process, and the rigor and independence of its inquiry. This scandal also exposes vulnerabilities inherent in Canada's evolving electoral system, especially amid recent efforts to increase voter accessibility through expanded mail-in and advanced voting options. While these reforms aim to make voting easier and more inclusive, they have also introduced complex logistical challenges that may have inadvertently compromised ballot security, chain of custody, and voter verification standards. Many election reform advocates and experts now recommend accelerated modernization efforts, including the adoption of enhanced voter ID technologies, improved ballot handling protocols, and more robust audit trails to safeguard election integrity in future cycles. Beyond technical fixes, the whistleblower bombshell has ignited a broader national conversation about electoral transparency, accountability, and the fundamental need for a resilient democratic process. Many Canadians express frustration and anxiety over whether their votes truly counted and whether the system is sufficiently protected from manipulation or error. This public unease has fueled grassroots activism, petitions, and widespread demands for stronger protections and reforms from political leaders at all levels. The controversy also highlights a universal democratic challenge, balancing increased accessibility with robust security. Canada's ongoing efforts to modernize voting methods must ensure that expanding voter participation does not come at the cost of election integrity. The whistleblower's revelations serve as a sobering reminder that safeguarding democracy requires constant vigilance, adaptation, and investment in trustworthy processes. The weeks ahead will prove pivotal as government officials, legal authorities, and election agencies collaborate to conduct thorough reviews and transparently address any irregularities. Their decisions and actions will be decisive in determining whether Canadians' faith in their democracy is preserved or further undermined by lingering doubts and partisan discord. In conclusion, the whistleblower bombshell on the ballot scandal following Canada's 2025 snap election has raised urgent and complex legal and political questions surrounding voting irregularities. Canadians now await decisive, transparent investigations and meaningful reforms to confirm the legitimacy of recent election results and to protect the democratic process for future generations. This defining moment calls for renewed commitments to transparency, accountability, and the sacred right to vote that underpins the nation's democratic foundation.